Hey there friends, I'm Carissa and it's nice to meet you. Welcome to my new channel. I hope that you stay a while and I hope that we find that we have some common interests too. So I'm into music, I'm also into analog photography and writing and filmmaking, and I like to combine those things however I can. Today's video is really special because not only am I christening my new YouTube channel, but I am also going to be walking you through my process of developing color film at home. So whether you're new to film photography or maybe you are a seasoned photographer that's looking to make your process all that more personal, then this is the video for you and I'm here to help. So grab yourself a hot drink and let's dive right in. First things first, you're gonna need some supplies. You're gonna need a developing tank with reels, a film can opener, scissors, your film, obviously, a dark bag or box to simulate a darkroom, your chemicals, developer, fixer, and wetting agent typically, 2 1,000 milliliter beakers, a thermometer, and a stirring stick to mix up your chemistry if this is your first time. Gloves. Black gloves are preferred, but if you can, try and get your hands on some of these powder-free gloves. And last but not least, something to hang your negatives on when they're drying after you develop them. I have like a little film hanger thingy, but in case you don't have that, what also works is if you have a clothes hanger and maybe some clothespins or some clips, you can just hang your negatives up on there and it works just as well. I'm also going to give you like DIY solutions for stuff because you don't need to spend your money on all of the little bits and bobs. I will link all of the stuff that I use in the video down in the description as well. But now that you have all of your stuff, it's time to actually get started. The ratios are going to depend on what chemistry you're using. For me, I'm using Cinestill's C41 color developer and their B41 two-step fixer. I just followed the directions on the package when I mixed up my chemistry, but if you want like a video tutorial of how I do that, I'd be happy to make one the next time that I need to stock up on my chemistry. So now it's time to actually prepare the film for developing. And so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grab that darkroom bag or box that you have now, and you're going to want to put your developing tank, your can opener, some scissors, and of course your film in there. And you're going to want to practice with like a dummy roll or something like that before you actually get into doing this for the first time, because you're doing all of this in darkness, you have to do it completely by hand feel, which presents its own challenges if you've never done it before. So you're going to want to start by opening the film canister first. You kind of want to slide the teeth of the can opener underneath like the lip of the can and then lift. And then from there you can pull the film out of the can. What you're going to want to do is trim the leader off. That's that little narrow strip of the film you use to load it into your camera. You're going to want to cut a straight line across that because if there's an open hole or if it's jagged, it can be really difficult to load it up onto your reel. But once you have that done, you're just going to want to slide the film onto your reel and just keep on sliding it. If you can, try and only use the edge of the film, just the sides, because you're going to want to try and get the least amount of fingerprints on your film as possible for obvious reasons. You don't want fingerprints on your photos. Or maybe you do, I don't know your life. Once your film is completely loaded up onto your reel, you can just trim off that last piece of the film strip that's stuck to the spool. And yeah, you're ready to put the reels back into the developing tank, close it up, and you can now take out the tank. Which brings us to our third step, the developing process. This is the part where your attention to detail is really important. You're going to want to start by heating or cooling your developing liquid. So how you can do this is some people use like plastic bins that they fill up with water. I just plug up my sink and fill it up that way, and then temperature control the water, measuring it with a thermometer, but just kind of controlling the temperature with the faucet. Once again, just make sure that you are developing your film at the right temperature according to what's on the packet of your film, but also the developing chemistry. Once you have your developer to the right temperature, it's time to pour it into your developing tank. And once your tank is filled up with the developing liquid, just put the top back on, and now it's time to start your timer. So you want to agitate it for the first 10 seconds, which really just means you turn the developing tank over on its side. And after that, you want to do that again every 30 seconds on the 30 seconds. And I do about 4 to 5 agitations or inversions. On the package of the chemistry that I use, it says 3.5 minutes, but I like to do my developer a little bit longer. I just like to push it a little bit. So I do it for 4 minutes, but you are absolutely not required to do that. And when I'm done, I pour out the developer back into my beaker, and then it's time for a little stop bath. And really a stop bath is just rinsing the film with water a few times. So that stops the development process, and then we're ready to fix. So I pour in the fixer like I did the developer, fill up the tank, and then once again we want to agitate for the first 10 seconds, and then every 30 seconds on the 30 seconds. The same thing that we did with the developer is we want to do every 30 seconds on the 30 seconds after that. My packaging says 8 minutes, but I actually added on another minute to it just to push it a little more for my film. That's what I usually do, but once again, you don't have to do that. Absolutely just follow the directions on the package the first time you do this, and then leave room to experiment. So then, after I'm done with those 9 minutes, I pour out the fixer into my other beaker, and then it's time for our final rinse and our wetting agent. The final rinse is really just exactly what it sounds like. It's rinsing your film with some water. And then a wetting agent is something like Kodak Photo Flow or something similar to that, where you kind of rinse your film with it and it makes it resistant to water. So that'll prevent your film from being really streaky when it dries. And you know, who doesn't want that? Nobody likes streaky, yucky negatives. I've also heard of people using dish soap, like diluted in water, as their wetting agent. I haven't personally tried it yet, but I think I might. So we'll see how that goes. And so after you've finished with your final rinse and your wetting agent, it's now time to take those negatives out of the developing tank and take a look at them. This is also the most exciting part because you get to finally see the fruits of your labor. Also a really great time to take notes on kind of what you see and what you did. So the whole time that I'm developing, I'm recording my notes in a little notebook. You really don't need anything fancy. Like, this was 99 cents at the 99-cent store. I just need paper to write down my progress. It's really useful to be able to go back and look at your prior experiences and your prior experiments too, just to kind of see what worked, what didn't, how you can improve next time, what you would like to try. So yeah, I always just record everything I do in a little notebook. A couple of things to keep in mind when you're taking out your negatives is a couple of things you might see with your roll. Depending on how experienced you are with photography, like if this is your first time even shooting a roll versus developing a roll, etc., etc., there's a couple things you might find with it. If you have very light negatives, then chances are that at the time of taking the photo, it was underexposed, or you didn't leave it to develop long enough. Now, if you have really dark negatives, then chances are that you either overexposed your image or you left it in your developer too long. Either that, or you got perfect, shiny, clean negatives on your first try, and in that case, you're God's favorite, so. The only way to really tell what the image looks like is once you scan it, but the negatives are kind of a giveaway most of the time of what the picture looks like. So as you continue to practice with your roles and try different developing techniques and stuff, always write things down. Just remember that this is a process of experimentation. And while there are guidelines to photo science, it's still an art, so have fun with it. So once again, I'm gonna link everything I used down in the description for you guys. I'm gonna link stuff to small but reputable photography businesses like the Film Photography Project and Cinestil, which are both companies that I regularly use and enjoy their products because they work. But also they're both dedicated to keeping the process of film alive, the art form of film alive, and educating people on them. So that's why I really like those two brands. And also I just prefer to support small businesses as opposed to the big A. So all in all, thank you so much for watching. If this helped you at all, or if I was even just your emotional support YouTube video while you ate your dinner, consider liking this video, leaving me a comment, and maybe subscribing, because I'm brand new to the YouTube game, so show me a little love maybe. Until the next video, shop small, walk tall, and pick up a piece of trash on the street today. Bye friends.